Okay. Okay, guys. So I will not start right away, but welcome and very fun to have this many people. It's 30 people in the webinar, and I'm just going to show, like this screen says, work from anywhere forever. I'm very passionate about that now. So, but this unfortunate pandemic, the upside of it was that we became very good at Word Up and in our group to work remotely, and it has its upsides. Right now, I'm in our Istanbul apartment. The last webinar, I was actually in at the airport, and magically, so I left Istanbul for 5 days to Stockholm, and then the flight got cancelled. I was on the last flight to Stockholm, and magically, as you can see, the plants here, I mean, they don't look super healthy. We had to cut them and stuff, but they have survived. And here is our terrace in Istanbul. Also, after 4 months of no water, these guys also survived. Here's where I like to sit. Today's unfortunately too windy, so we're not having the webinar here. Here's the view from our home. And there is the most important article of the house. It's my barbecue. Okay, so I will go back inside and then start the webinar. Okay. So I hope you all hear me good. So I'm going to start today about I do this every week. This is the 4th EWA webinar where one, besides reviewing our sites and kind of passing that knowledge along, we also, it's kind of an intro to new projects and for everyone to see a bit what's going on. And we will also do a Q&A at the end of the webinar. So normally, in this webinar, we start with, by explaining what an EWA is and stuff like that. But this time around, I wanted to reverse it. So we will start with the review of the sites, present some new jobs. I know that everybody here that is joining would like to hear about those. And then explain a bit what an EWA is and working remotely, the 2 EWA principles, and then finally how to join an EWA team and get reward points, some steps there. And finally, how to get the €300 a month site. I mean, how to get her site or several sites that you manage and you learn. And that's what we're going to review right now. So here are, okay, why did that do this? That's not so good. So here are some of our sites, and okay, I will start with the positive news. So everybody, I mean, Sanna, Linda, Helene, Randy, Linda, amazing job with the site speed. I mean, it's the worst one, and Randy and Terje came in very late. It's 13% up, and some of them are like lightning fast. That is the good news. Also, most of us have done a very good job on the content part. Could be more, but it's at least, I mean, a big increase. However, the market is getting way tougher, and as you can see here, except for hairline transplant Turkey, we have not done very good in terms of leads. This is mainly a budget issue. The competition is getting much tougher. The countries are opening up. Turkey is opening up, so it's way more expensive. So I will do a small review of, and I will show a bit of, show the sites a bit. So I need to figure out how I close this one like this, and then we will go to Word Up. So here, for those who have not seen it, is something we call the website manager. And we use this tool to, I mean, it has a lot of benefits. One of them is that you can track a lot of sites. So I have several thousand sites that I'm tracking, and here I have a filter called hair sites VA, where, I mean, the hair transplant site that the EWAs are running, I track them from here. So if I start with the first one, which is Sanna's site, this means means hair transplantation. There is some positive news here. There is some keywords are starting to rank on the first page. It happened already last week, but you see that there's starting to become a lot of traction here. We have several keywords on page 2, and I mean, in that sense, it's doing pretty good. Go to the site. So one cool thing that you can do with our website manager, except seeing all of this data at a glance, is that it has, if you connect our plugin, you can go directly to the site. So I have no idea what the password is. I guess Sanna or Jorn set it up, shared it with me, and now I can log in as an admin to the site, which is kind of useful. I see that, I mean, we did a lot of new reviews here. I think you even added 1 or 2 just before the meeting, before I checked them. It started to look good. What you need to work on, Sanna, and you might want to take notes, is that you need to work on the ads now and the content. So if you check the ads, you have no leads, and because you don't have any advertising going on. So that needs to go up, and then obviously you need more content on all the sites. And you also should do Google devices reviews to start checking the SERP here to move this to a better position. And if we take hårtransplantation, we can check that one here. Was it .com? Yeah, so Linda, you have done a great job with the speed and everything. And if we look at the site, I mean, we should look also at the rankings, of course. You're starting to get traction on the site. It's starting to rank, which is amazing. So you have 4 in the top 30 position, actually, and 1 is 13. And there's some volumes here. I mean, Nordic Hair Clinic, and yeah, that one has 1.6K searches. So if we move that to top 3 position, it's going to be pretty good. Is there anything else I wanted to check here that you did? You need to work on the ads and content. Let's see what you have when your blog was written last. This is good. So if I go to hårtransplantation.nu, which is Helene's site, I see. You also have no one on page 2, but you have several words that are ranking here. Probably you also added a lot of reviews or something, which is bound to happen here. Let me check how the blog is, because you need to start doing supporting blog posts to boost these clinics and or the pages that are ranking on page 2 or 3. You need to push blog posts on those with internal links. So let's see if you have done that. Yeah, here's something. Yeah, this is great. You should probably do this a bit longer and add more clinics, but this is great. I mean, this is something that all of you can take notes of. This is how you move. One way of moving a position up is to write the supporting write supporting content, and then link to it with an internal link with an anchor text that is saying Poseidon Kliniken. So if we go back and look at the site here, you see that Poseidon Kliniken was ranking 28. Yeah, so it's ranking 28, and hopefully with that post, it can rank, it moves a couple of positions up. This should be done probably to all of this stuff here, so you need more links. Then let's check Terje and Randy, you're all new. You took over this site last week. So it's hårtransplantation.com, and let's first see if something has happened in the SERP. I think it did actually. So you have, wow, 2 amazing positions. You rank number 2 for, or number 60 for hair transplant Turkey. There's no traction on the other ones. And let's go and see the site. I can actually go from here also. Okay, so you have 2 reviews. I know that you have written a lot. Let's see the blog. Yeah, this one, don't miss this one. I mean, the blog should not have a post from April. It's a great way to test new writers, as you know, so I will come to that later. You should definitely do that. Also, you need to work on the ads. The ads are kind of a disaster. They are, we're paying 78 euro for a lead. It's a lot of money. Same Helene here. I mean, like all of them, you see the numbers here. They have increased a lot. This is not only because, I mean, it's not because you have done a bad job. It's just that like now it needs a lot of attention. So everybody, until next webinar, you need to work a lot on that. So you cannot just ignore them. Hairline transplant Turkey. I mean, Jörn has worked a lot here. This is the only one that has not lost a lot of stuff. We can check the site just so everybody sees the positions. This has started to rank incredibly well. Actually, with on this competitive market, we have 2 top 10. I mean, I think we're in, yeah, we're top 5, and then we have, I mean, on hairline transplant Turkey cost, we rank 28. It has 5,400 searches. So this site is getting traction, but I mean, Linda, if you look at the site here, this is not so good. You will see that it has no reviews, and the blog, I think, was updated in January 27th. I mean, this is not going to work. You need to get people in that help you. I know that you've been, I mean, you worked a lot in June and in the beginning of July. I mean, I think you have all-time high in terms of earnings, but if you don't get people in this site, it cannot be like this, that we have a post from January. So that's that. Then as for new projects, so the purpose of this webinar each week is for everybody to get an orientation on what we're doing. The purpose of this site is to teach our EWAs basically everything we know. They have an EWA sheet where they get an action plan each month, and then I also review it here, and we check speed, and we're going to start checking also conversions. And the purpose of this is that the elite word-upper is first and foremost a great writer, but our clients, they really appreciate that everybody is so good. I mean, we never get the cancellation of an EWA. An EWA works almost forever if the company still exists, and the reason is because they simply know so much. We use our sites both to give a guaranteed income, but also for them, for the EWAs to be able to recruit new people to the system and test them. So I will come to that later, how to do that. And then I, in this webinar here, present what we have. So we're looking for 6 English EWAs for Fast Track. I will come back to the qualifications. We are looking for And these EVAs will get the 300 euro budget almost right away. However, you have to be native. I mean, I'm talking to you be an EVA if you're not a great, fantastic writer. It simply doesn't work. And then we will teach you how to write, but you need to do that. And then Monica, you have started with hårtransplantation.dk, and I think you're looking for another or more Danish writers. So there's an opening here. We have 2 German EVA positions. If you know anyone that is very good at writing and is interested in this kind of work. Masara is launching a Japanese site soon, and he probably needs an EVA. And then we have tons of work in Finnish. We will have more than 50 sites, new sites a month, plus sites, but we are not just giving them away to anyone. I mean, we want people long-term here, and frankly, if you want to have the EVA role, you have to work for it. Otherwise, you can work in the app, you can work with the EVA as a writer, but if you want this special role with a lot of stuff, you need to help out, and I will come to that. We have Swedish, same. We have 2 hair sites. We need 2 French EVAs, we need 2 Dutch EVAs, and we actually need 1 more Turkish EVA, but you need to be very good at English. I mean, I would say native, and if you know another language as well, that is of course a bonus. So, what is an EVA? Or, I mean, it's not only an EVA actually, it would also apply for developers. So, as an EVA, you need to have excellent writing skills. As a developer, that would be excellent coding skills. You need, in the beginning as an EVA, it's very, very hard. I mean, you work for almost nothing. Even a 300 euro budget, you would work 40, 50 hours a week just to get it. Frankly, there's a lot of people that start and then they say, wow, this was much harder than I thought. So you have to learn a lot. You become one of the best in the industry, and it requires time because they don't teach what we teach here in school. I mean, this is the school basically. And it's the same for a developer. I mean, you have to learn Scrum, sprints, Agile. You have to learn how to do TDD and test yourself. Then I've fired 2 EVAs, and I gave 2 warnings today because I processed the EVA sheets the first week each month. And so as an EVA, you manage your own stuff. And what most people do is that they earn a lot. I mean, they do a lot themselves, and then they need a holiday. The problem is that if they need a holiday, we don't need them anymore. So what you can do, and what the contract kind of says, is that you can work 5 to 100% in WordUp. I mean, you can take a break as long as you have taught some people that can do the job for you. If you have not done that, and you have, I mean, blog posts are not updated, you don't respond for several days, it is because you have not invested in teaching people. If you don't do that, we cannot run a platform like ours. So it is a requirement to recruit and train an whole team. I mean, I would actually change that here right now, just to say. So we have a platform, we have tons of members, we have different channels, we have budgets, but as an EVA, or a developer, I mean, we have developers here in the company that work for other companies, and sometimes they work 50% for us, sometimes they work 100% for us, and sometimes they work 0%, but they are training and recruiting people. So we are never in a situation where we don't have anyone to do the job. I cannot repeat how important this is. I mean, yeah, everybody thinks that's hard, including us. That's why we have created a system like that. Then finally, it should fit your lifestyle. I mean, I love working with my computer. I don't especially need like weekends off. I mean, my life is work or holiday, depends on the angle you view it. I can take a day off, or like today, I worked from 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm having a webinar now. And after that, I will probably do some other work. And then I can go next week, and probably you will see me on a beach somewhere running this webinar. So, I mean, for some people this fits. If you want to do this for a couple of months, just, you know, between jobs or something like that, I think, yeah, as long as you recruit people and you're willing to invest all of this time needed, you should have, but probably it should be something that fits your lifestyle. And we have 2 principles and actually a third. So quality never has a bad day. You cannot do mistakes as an EWA. And as a developer, we require people to do test-driven development. I mean, they have to write automatic tests. They also have to know the product. We're not testing it for them, so we don't run an organization where we somehow assume or like have testers or stuff like that. I don't believe in that at all. I think the product doesn't become, I think it becomes pure shit. Then it's paid forward or recruit and train. I mean, if everybody recruits and train 2 great people, the viral coefficient makes us, I mean, we will end up with the best people on the planet. And it will be as many of those people as possible. So that principle is, I mean, there's people that has worked and have done a great job in the first principle, but then they failed on the other one and they got fired and they're not getting any works. And 2 people like that has been fired this year. And it was both times it was that something unfortunate happened, but they hadn't trained any people and they worked with us for 6 months. So I'm repeating myself a lot here, but I really wanted to sink in. And then finally, school is never out. This is a screenshot from yesterday. It is my 300-day streak. It's actually 360 days, but I messed up a thing that, so I didn't have internet connection, so I couldn't finish it one day. This is Russian. So I speak 4 languages and I'm learning a 5th. And the reason is that my wife is Ukrainian and her parents are not very good at English. So I speak, yeah, I have to learn Russian basically. So how to join an EWA team? So most people, see if we have any people left. Yeah, we have more people actually, that's cool. How to join an EWA team? I mean, like we have on wordup.com courses and on youtube.com wordup. This webinar included, actually I would say also a blog. We have tons of material, and the reason why we record these webinars is so, because we cannot teach this one-on-one and everybody has different learning cycles. So if you don't study these recordings and after this post, I mean, now you're joining a live webinar and you will get 8 reward points. And you can get it each Thursday if you join mine live, or local runs run by EWAs. For example, there's an AN writing webinar Wednesdays starting next week at 8 o'clock Central European time. You get reward points. It might be different conditions for the reward points, but every EWA has a budget for it. But if you don't know how we want text to be written, I mean, you need to study how to write for WordUp. Helena has a fantastic webinars. There's an English one for it also. If you just go ahead, you're kind of wasting everybody's time. So we put the webinars here so you can train by yourself and then get started. So don't start. I know everybody's eager, everybody wants to get started, but frankly, the level and the standard of the things we're doing here, they're so high. So if you butcher it, I mean, maybe one time everybody's forgiving the first time, but the second time, if you butcher it, I don't think the EWA is going to give you a chance again. So there is a lot of work you have to do before you start. Then when you do that, you would write one great blog post. So each EWA on each language has at least one blog where you could write for them. And then if you help the EWA, I mean, the EWA, they have, as you see, they have KPIs that they need to follow and do, and they need to build their teams. If you help them, they will help you, because that's the nature of things. So, I mean, I don't know, like, I mean, we look at their traffic, maybe to share your post on social, or if there's a job opening, help them recruit. And then finally, I mean, if you do a good job with the first blog posts are pretty easy. Then you have to write a very good clinic review, and Helene's webinar explains how to do that. The reason why we, it's not about medical, but the principles of writing a good text is always the same. And it's frankly, I mean, I would say, of course, it's perfect language, it's very good headers, but it's also that when I read the text, I need to learn something. I see a lot of people, even experienced writers, that are filling out the text to make the word count count. It doesn't fly. That doesn't work anymore. It's not 1,000 words of gibberish. It has to be very good content. And of course, the text has to be perfect language-wise. I mean, the only reason why we have an editor role is because people have bad days. But an EWA cannot have a bad day. They can only have it, like, I mean, in 3 texts out of 100, basically, right? So this, I think, like, I think a lot of people just jump into it and want to write right away. It's natural, but please study a bit of the recordings. There's a lot of webinars on YouTube, and that are pretty good. And then before you start, you should also think, like, does this fit my lifestyle? I mean, Reid Hoffman has something called a tour of duty. I mean, do I really want to spend the time doing all of this? Because, I mean, it is not, you're going to spend a lot of time self-studying in the beginning. Okay, and then how to get your own sites. Okay, so first you qualify in the previous step. You self-study and become very good, so we don't have time to explain obvious stuff that is has already been recorded. Of course, you can ask the EWAs and ask your friends about it, but when you give something and you want to build a site, you need to know how to build a WordPress site, basically, and we have very good self-study material for that. Then second step is, again, you add value. So in Sweden now, we have an opening where we have something called devices reviews, where you can get a site, where Matilda is running a lot of those, and we will fast track, stated that you qualify in the previous step, we will fast track persons, or I mean, a person or persons that recruit kind of 15 people that live in Sweden or Finland that do these reviews. And then you get a 300 euro a month budget plus the points. I mean, you will get the site like these ones with the budget. And of course, then it's up to you to perform that. And it's the same in Finland, where we have openings for, so we have 2 Swedish EWAs that can get, or actually we have 2 sites. So we have openings for, if you work in teams, 4 EWAs. And in Finland, we have 8 EWAs, and we have tons of work there. We have 50 sites that we're going to produce this month, and then another 50 sites next month as a trial. If the trial works as we hope, then we will produce, I mean, 50 a month, basically, plus the other stuff. So here, I think the best thing is that in Sweden, you can reach out to Matilda at wordupper.com, and in Finland, you can reach out to Sanna at wordupper.com. You need to find people that live in Finland and wants to do this work. Then you will get a site, and you will get a fast track. And then you could also help us with, say that you don't know a lot of people. We will also count it if you find us some great English people, Danish people, Japanese people, and German people, or recommend us some developers. If we decide to fast track them, I mean, based on the previous step, then and they fit the role, then you have helped us a lot. So then we will help you by fast tracking you, so you get the chance to do it. I think we will switch to the Q&A. I'm sure that everyone has questions. I've talked a lot now. Yeah, let's switch to the Q&A. How do I do this then? I'll click on the chat, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Jorn, how do we do? Yeah, Norway. We have Norway also. I mean, I wrote it in the previous list here. Run the entire year. You can do. I mean, you can do the previous step, and then you get work there as well. So should we do the Q&A here, Jorn, or do we do it in the chat? So let's start by questions. Jorn, are you answering the questions? Okay, okay, I will start with Anne Boa. I answer. Okay, so Anne, we have on this slide here, you have the addresses. Let's see, remove this one. So wordup.com/courses on our site. Looks like this. So you have a link on the top of our page, but also on YouTube, you have youtube.com/wordup, and finally our blog. So that's how you self-study. And then I see Bülent Shine, who to reach for Turkey. You can reach out to me, but and I will arrange so you get a test. And I think you have a lot of points, and your English, I mean, it's pretty okay. I know you live in Finland. So I would say that, Bülent, if you find 15 people that do the Google devices reviews that you've been doing in Finland, I guarantee you 300 euro earnings and sites to do in Turkish. So maybe you can reach out to me in the chat, but I mean, in the end, I mean, Sanna, she can help you set up the click projects. And if you do that, then you will simply get different kind of sites and we will fast track you. Of course, we have to test your Turkish though. Okay, I mean, yeah, I know that you know English, yes. Randy, okay, so Randy is asking how, I mean, okay, so Randy is asking this, when you train others, will those remain normal writers or do they have to be EWAs as well? So the nature of things here is that they will start by writing for, in this case, for your blog, right? And you like them. Then you will get, I mean, other projects from us, and they will write more and more. And what we do then is that we look at their quality score and their history in WordUp. And I mean, they can also join this webinar once. This first step is that we need to know that they write good, and then they will get some sites to build. And you become an EWA when you have trained other people and mastered everything. So everybody asks us, when do I get the 13% of the template price as an EWA, the full percent? Yeah, when you have trained a lot of people and you have mastered all the tasks. One of these is running your own webinars. So the best way to get people in is for you to run a webinar like this, where you give people reward points. I mean, we help you in Intercom, or you use Facebook and different channels, and you recruit people. And if they pass the steps that I explained here, I mean, they qualify by writing one great blog post. You have 200 reward points, Randy, for your site each month. So you can award it to them. And then if they write good, then you build your team, basically. Yes. Okay. So Mariel is asking, is it possible to recruit people who write in languages you don't speak yourself? Of course. I mean, so what we do here is that, for example, Jörn together with Linda, I think, or Leslie, they will run a weekly webinar right now. It might be every second weeks, where you can tell people to join. And you can also always tell them to join my webinar here. And I mean, if they are very good and pass these things here, then I mean, there's no reason for us not to use them. So I hope that answers the question. Yeah, you can recruit, I mean, you can recruit people who write, and you can also send us developers, and if they pass our tests, we will give them remote work as well. We don't require them to I mean, work full-time or something like that. Does anyone have any other questions? Remember that this, like, please ask the questions here, because then I mean, there's currently 35 people in the webinar, so everybody gets answered. If you have any questions about payments, and payments is usually a thing, or stuff like that. Okay. Yes, Rachel. Yes. So to self-study, you just you do the courses, and then if you want to have some points now, reward points to write for, in your case, I think it's Norwegian, right? Yeah. If it's Norwegian, then you contact us in the chat, or you contact Randy or Terje right away, and then you can write sample post for them. But you should self-study before, I think. Okay, if there's no other questions, okay, so there's, okay. So Unch is asking how much money a beginner writer who reached 200 written report earn per month approximately. Like, that is kind of hard to answer. So it depends, of course, on how much work we have. But so the setup here is that if you help with, and I'll repeat those again. So what we need is, we need people right now that do devices reviews. We need English people, Norwegian people, Danish people. We need all of these people. And if you help us out with that, and if you write very good Turkish, I mean, the number of sites we can produce is limitless. But I mean, we only have budget for certain stuff, like 300 euro a month. Then it depends a bit on you. And you can also build your own agency here, where you can use the entire platform and the teams and get jobs in yourself. So I don't know, you can earn a lot, I guess. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it depends on your effort. Exactly. Exactly. Yes, so Bulent asked to do tasks with multiple languages. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, I mean, I don't, so like the name says, Word app, you have to be a very, very good writer. You cannot write, I mean, I don't think I would be able to write in Word app in English. I can't. I'm not C2. I think I'm close to it, but I need an editor, so I cannot become an EWA, because an EWA has to write the perfect text, even though my texts are pretty creative and pretty good. But that's like, you have to be very, very good at the language. And I mean, maybe I was at some point, and I think I forgot about some of the rules, and I'm too lazy to learn them again. But on the other hand, I'm doing other stuff now. So I think like the advice here is that if you want to become an EWA and have that work, but that goes for any freelancing work, you have to learn all the skills, but the core asset here is writing a perfect text, and not only being creative, but then doing some small, you know, grammatical mistakes and stuff. It's simply not good enough. And if you're not born native English. It's very big language. It's like Turkish. It's very hard to master it if you didn't learn it very early, in very early ages. Okay, Marielle. Okay, so Marielle is asking, I have some technical questions. Where do I find feedback from return tasks? I misunderstood the test 1 completed, it said, it seems. So you have task history where you can see all the changes of a text. I can show you where it is. Let's move stuff around there a bit. So if you click here, transaction details, here you have task history. So I mean, now it's dropped, so it's not going to show. But if you click here, you can see all the changes, including the comments. And you also, this is also what affects your quality score. And we look at that when we make decisions. It's a very important part. We see the percentage of changes, and they shouldn't be much for a very good writer. So Robinson is asking, I have a WordPress site I'm developing. Can WordUp guide me in making it a better platform as I progress my training? Yeah, I mean, you go to our courses, and I mean, you have tons of info there. So of course it will become a better site. I mean, that's what we do in the web. If you review our sites and see what we have built, I mean, you can reverse engineer it. Marielle, is there any payment for recruiting people, attending webinars, etc.? I mean, you get reward points if you join a live webinar. I mean, at least mine. You get 8 points if you write it in our wordup.com chat later. Then for recruiting people, I mean, the payment is that we give you work. And back again to, so there's 2 situations there. If you know how to do all the stuff that you need to do, let's say if you're great, amazing writer in English, and you know how to set up a WordPress site, you know Google Ads, you know how to install analytics, you know how to build the site. I mean, first of all, you can use WordUp and just get your own gigs. I mean, you just go to Upwork or any platform and get the jobs in yourself. If you don't know that, what we are providing here is a platform where you get all this knowledge from us. Of course, you have to self-study. I mean, if you go to university, you have to pay for it. Here we have like a bit more than online course kind of thing where you help us out, and then we help you by giving you the shot to, so if, for example, now I know that Bjorn is looking for 2 developers in Ruby and React, and we also need English people, and we also need Dutch people, for example, and we need a lot of Finnish people. If you find those, I mean, it becomes like, then we give you the shot of producing a site. I mean, and then if you do stated, I can write, of course. I hope that answered it. So it's kind of a, I mean, if you want to recruit people and get paid for it, one thing you could do after you have learned this, I was thinking it would take you a few months. You could build something called a lead generation website. That's what this hair transplant sites is, or where you generate leads, and you can build a site like that, rank it up, and then you get tons of people that you can sell to employers that want to hire people. So the payment is knowledge. Cool. So I think we are done for today. Okay. Yes, we're getting ready to close up. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining. So next week, I will have it at the same time. I have some new ideas that I want to try there. I'm going to do the reviews. and hopefully I will explain a bit about devices reviews and stuff like that, so we get explain some new people that have joined. Basically, maybe someone will join the webinar with me. Let's see what we do next week. Yes, and if you have any more questions, please ask them in the chat on the site, and then you can also reach out for the EWAs there in your language. Thanks a lot, and have a nice evening. Bye-bye.